welcome Phil Ferriss. He's a best-selling author. In fact, he helped me co-author a book. It's Never Too Late for Fitness. He's written about 3 or 4 books. He's got a website, nevertoolateforfitness.com, and he's a radio show host, a lacrosse coach, a grandfather, and his claim to fame is fitness over 50 advocate. So I want to welcome Phil Ferriss today. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, William. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good. I want to tell you, it's an honor. You make such a difference, and I appreciate the time, and my viewers appreciate the time. And so let's get right to it. Let's talk numbers. Give me some stats. How old are you? Height, weight, all body fat.
Okay, I'm 75 years young. I'm 5'9", 190 pounds. I happen to weigh the exact same weight as my grandson, who's 16 years old and a junior in high school and plays football. He will surpass me soon. I'm probably going to be going down. He's going up, but that's okay. And my body fat's about 20%. Haven't seen the teens since I was in my 60s. And part of that just because that I'm comfortable. I can do everything I want to do with the weight I'm at. And if I want to do something different, then I would have to change. And so my kind of one of my philosophies is to do what's important to you, so you do what's important in your life. So.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Quick question. Have you, in your quest right now, how much time and effort do you put into your training right now, like a day?
A day?
Yeah.
Actually, it depends on the day because
okay.
I'll give you, when I lift weights, I lift twice a week, full body workout, and those are 30 minutes, full body, okay. Twice a week.
So you're not spending hours a day in the gym?
No.
Okay.
What I do, I don't like doing cardio, though I can do it. So I play tennis. I play 2 to 3 times a week, 2 hours. So that's about 4 to 6 hours of tennis.
You know, I heard something the other day that if you play racket sports, your incidence of heart disease is like literally 50% less from racket sports, whether it's pickleball, tennis. So it's funny that this is what you do.
Well, the other thing about racket sports is it also has a lot to do with the neural pathways in terms of preventing Alzheimer's, because when you're moving in multi different directions and you're physically active and you're thinking strategy, that develops the neural pathways in your brain because it's always changing. And so that keeps that prevents the issues that come up with Alzheimer's and aging, the forgetfulness as we get older. So
that's fascinating because I'm training harder now than I've a long time, and it's all about focusing on the muscles and firing those neurotransmitters, and it makes a massive difference. And I tell people, putting your mind in the muscle matters. So you've just evidence of that. Hey, you don't look 75. Do you get complimented all the time on your looks?
I get mistaken. I hang out. But I play tennis with guys that are in their 50s.
You're right.
I coach the parents that I coach are in their 40s, and I'm with I coach youth lacrosse and high school lacrosse. So they're kids from 5 years old to 18 years old. Their parents and I've been doing that for 20 years. And so people come back and say, gee, coach, you haven't changed a bit. Now, I know I have, but it's still, that's the doing things I like with people that keep me active is a big part of the aging process.
Yes.
It's do what you enjoy doing, so you keep on doing it.
Beautiful. So I think our viewers would love to hear the beginning of your fitness journey. And could you walk us through the early days and what initially sparked your interest in fitness and wellness?
He was an example by my father and my mother and my grandparents in that they were all into sports. So I was playing football in the backyard with my dad and our neighbors when I was 4 years old. And I played my brother was 2 years older than I was. He was into sports, and that was just something we did. When we were in high school, there was only one health club. It was a Vic Tanny's, and that was like 12 miles away. And our high school, which was we had 2,000 kids in high school, had a weight room that had a bench and 100 pounds of weights. So my brother and I converted our garage into a weight room, and it was the place. And we had benches and a couple thousand pounds of weights. We just kept on adding as we get jobs. We'd buy another piece of equipment, and then that was the place that all the high school kids came to work out. And then when they went to college, they came back because there still was not commercial gyms hadn't hit real big back in the 60s then. So that was my introduction to weight training. Was very rudimentary because it was kind of that was just when Arnold and everybody was just starting to become
Right.
popular.
Yeah. It's good
It was
times.
becoming a sport. I continued doing that through college. Played a little football until I had a couple of concussions that made me stop. But I played basketball. I played rugby until I was 45. I played full court basketball until I was 65. And I always, it was just part of what I did. Because again, it was built in based on what my parents did, what my grandparents did, and my brother, who was also an athlete, and he coached wrestling for a number of years. So that was just kind of what we did.
Sounds good. Could you share a pivotal moment in your life that led you to become a passionate advocate for fitness, especially after 50? And what was the turning point that it's never too late for fitness?
Little thing here is that up to 50, I was pretty healthy, and then at 50, then I started running into life's obstacles. Like I had fell off a ladder and broke both wrists, so that put me out of commission for 10 months. I had back surgery, which put me out of commission for 9 months. I had knee surgery, and each time I would have one of these health setbacks, you go all the way back to zero. I mean, when I had both hands in casts for 6 months, my wife's arms were bigger than mine. And so now, how do you go back? I was lifting 5 pounds.
Right.
I had to start very much back. And the doctors told me, forget about playing tennis, forget about playing basketball. Just you find something else to do. And I said, screw that. What do I have to do? So it was back, working out, getting back in, and then getting back into shape. And then another thing would happen. And then another. Life happens as you get older.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
each time I had this choice, do I put in the work, because it is work, or do I just accept? And I never accepted it. And then the kicker for me was AFib, which is atrial fibrillation, which is I found out I had an irregular heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
And what it is, the heart is structurally sound, but the electricity is off. And so you're subject to possible strokes. So they put me on a blood thinner. And then we kept on looking for ways to get me into rhythm. When I said AFib, if I would just do a walk, my heart rate would go up to like 160 just walking. And so I was always tired. And then I would get out of AFib either with a drug or inflation. And then I would feel good and I start working out again. And another 6 months I go back. So this happened for 5 years. Finally got out of AFib and with a medication that allowed me to live a normal life and work out. And I'm playing with, I'm overweight. I'm unmotivated because I'm just kind of tired of the grind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm in the backyard playing with my grandkids and dog, and I was too tired to keep up with them. And I created a game. I would sit in the hammock and direct them while they ran around. And so I thought, boy, that's really, really creative. But then I realized, man, I wasn't there. The way I showed up as a grandfather was not who I was. And at that moment, I said, no, if I'm going to be around for them, if I'm going to show them how to do things, it's not do as I say, it's, watch me.
Oh my God. I want to stop right there.
Yeah.
To me, life is about leading by example. So I want my daughters to have the freedom of being a YouTuber, because if you find your passion, you can share it, right? So what's the best way? Daddy's a YouTuber, and so I believe that so much, Phil's lead by example and don't talk much, so that's really impactful what you just said.
It's again, as you get older, I started realizing I'm leaving a legacy, and my legacy is the impact I've had on my kids and my grandkids. And my grandkids are good kids, they're good, just good kids. But fitness is a part of their life.
Yeah, yeah.
When they would come to our house, the first place we go is down the weight room.
Right, right.
So it was fun for them. And that's what it should be. Being active should be fun. So that was,
Yes.
so I did that. And so then I got back in shape. That's when I wrote my book and said, here's the formula. And it's not a crazy formula because mine was like, eat food you like, but eat, 80-20 rule. Make sure you get your protein, hydrate, get enough sleep, and then exercise. You build up to the point where you build muscle because you have to build muscle as
Yeah.
Because, and then, it was common sense kinds of things. And I thought, and here was my, I guess the fallacy is I thought that I'd arrived. I finally conquered fitness and I was going to stay in that shape forever. And I was running a gym and was working out regularly and was coaching the class. Everything seemed fine. And then COVID happened.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, when COVID, and everything I had was based on you go to the gym to work out, you go play tennis, you do that.
Yeah, your regimen
were structured based on going somewhere, and my whole mechanism of design for life was thrown out the window. And when COVID finally came back, I put on 15 pounds like everybody else. I was out of shape.
Yeah.
So I said, what do I do? I said, I got to go back to the formula that always works. Start small, get a coach so you have accountability, and then listen to your body as you force yourself to go and build the habit of working out.
Yeah,
you don't habit of showing up at the gym. You're never going to make it what you do. It's habit of showing up. And then when you get there, you can work out. And then you can always get a better workout and improve it. But the important part here is you got to show up and then get in the habit of eating healthy foods, which means you've got to get in the habit of grocery shopping.
Right, right.
And so these things you stack your habits so you have a lifestyle. So it's not like a diet. It's not like, I got to go work out. So, hey, I get to play tennis today. Hey, I get to go coach.
Right. Yeah.
I get excited about the things that I do to keep me active. And then the weight comes off, the muscle goes on, and you're back into a lifestyle design based on what you do. And when I work with clients, I have some people that do kayaking for cardio or do mountain biking. Other people, I have one lady that does hula dancing.
Right.
And she's 75 years old and she's in a hula dancing troupe. And, she lost 30 pounds dancing and she loved it. So she doesn't think about, oh my God, I'm working out. She says, no, I'm doing something I love. It allows me to do what I love doing. And that's really what we want to be able to do is find a lifestyle that gets you to do things you want to do, or maybe things you never thought you could do. And you're trying to, you're going to get back down to below 10%, get down to 5% body fat, which is phenomenal that someone in your age. Sorry, I'm not. But no, it's just like the amount of dedication that takes someone that's really focused on it, and that's important to you. Someone's got to find what is
important to them. Find their why. I tell people, like my mindset goes to there's a right way and a wrong way for every goal. I know that's how it works. And I get to people, what's your why? What's your goal? And then we can help them. Hey, with the advancement in fitness, and technology and wearables, what do you think the next big thing in fitness is?
I think for fitness, especially for people over 50, it's going to be on their watch and their phone. They're going to be able to look at their blood pressure, their glucose. They're going to be able to look at all their vital signs at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
They'll be able to see what's going on, and they'll be aware of that. And, they have some of it now. It's some of it's better than others, but I think it's going to be the point where you can just do it, show it to your doctor, and you don't have to see the doctor. The doctor looks and says, hey, you're doing great. And we start looking at things preventatively because we can look, how's your blood pressure? How's your blood sugar? How's your body composition? And that information is going to be so readily available that it'll be that much easier to be healthy proactively.
I think that's so important is know your numbers, know your A1C, know your blood pressure, resting glucose, base numbers. And I tell people, know your numbers. Don't rely on a doctor who's got 2,000 patients to know your health better than you do. It's like racing a car without an oil pressure and temperature gauge, and there's no warning, and all of a sudden you have a stroke, and it's preventable. You got to know your numbers.
So that, let me just piggyback on a little bit, because when I had AFib, I'd never even heard of it. Matter of fact, I took my blood pressure regularly, my pulse, and normally my pulse used to be about 54. And for about 2 weeks, it was like 75, 85. And I said, that's strange. So I went to the doctor and I said, this is kind of silly, but my pulse has been like, and he took the pulse and the nurse took the pulse and she said, well, you're 85, you're normal. I said, it's not normal for me. And she said, well, okay. And she kind of reluctantly got the doctor and doctor, well, that's for the heck of it. Let's put an EKG on. And then he said, oh, you're an AFib. We got to get, you got to call your wife and have her taken to the hospital. And, because AFib, you can go into a stroke if you don't treat it right. And I didn't know. I'd had episodes, but I just never realized. And I'd never heard of what AFib was. And so I got it treated, and it took a long time. But I had another good friend who was a CEO of a major corporation that had AFib, didn't know it, and had a stroke. And he's still 5 years later, he's still in a convalescent home.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
So again,
proactive.
It's little things. It's a little number. Pay attention to it.
So, with your experience of an author, radio show host, the art of balance is so important. How do you have any input on our viewers on how they can find time when their time is so, the struggle to find the balance, find the time to go to the gym? Do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I think it's build structure into your life so that it's important. It's an appointment. So
right, exactly.
You get up at the same time every morning and you have a morning routine. You plan. You know when you're going to eat. You know when you're going to work out, and you know when the other important things that are non-negotiable.
Right.
It goes in on a daily basis. That's one reason I play tennis, is because I have to be there because there's 4 or 8 other guys that are waiting for me.
Right, exactly.
So it's an appointment. I have to show up.
Okay.
I have a coach, and I have to go to the gym. I got to show up. I build that accountability in so that it's just part of what I do, and I don't have to think about it. And then it forces me to use my other time more efficiently, so I get what's important done, whether it be work or family life, whatever. And the only thing that supersedes that is family. So last Monday, my daughter dropped in with the 2 grandkids, and so I dropped everything, and we went out.
Right.
And I said, I can make up all that stuff, but I got 6 hours with my grandkids. Everything's off the table.
Right on. Last thing, can you give us 5 tips to help someone make it to the gym? And what is your routine now?
Okay. My routine is like I said, I work out, do full body workout, strength training twice a week. I do tennis twice a week, and I have it's a kickboxing metabolic conditioning class. I do it. It burns calories, but it also gets me around. Most of the people there are in the 30s, 40s, and a few in the 50s. So for me, it's a challenge of, can I keep up with these people? And it's fun because it's a challenge, and so I have to show up there twice a week. I have one day is rest, and that's usually walking if it's nice around here, which lately it's been getting better, but it's and then the other part is coaching lacrosse, because during the lacrosse season I'll be on my feet for like about from 3:30 to 7:30 for 5 days, and then on games on the weekend. So that's a pretty intense period.
Yeah, that's a busy schedule.
And in terms of tips, I said one is fitness is not a destination; it is a journey. I learned that so much, because you'll never be. I mean, that's why you go. You're as a bodybuilder, right? I'm in that bodybuilding sheet for that contest. Do they peak too soon? Do they peak too late? You're never at the perfect. So, and people should understand this. Find the fitness level that allows you to do what you want to do.
Right.
And it's important to you, and then do that, and do whatever it takes to do those things. the other is really know your why. If someone says, I want to do that because I want to fit into this dress for this wedding, 99% of the time, that person will fail because that's a one-time event. And so the idea is, why is that important? Well, I want my kids to look up to me. Oh, okay. Do you want them to look up to you one day or every day?
Mhm.
So you got to go behind
Yeah,
drill
yeah.
down. Why is that important to you? What does that do for you? And if you get it, how does that make you feel? And if you go, nothing, well, then it's not a why.
Right, right.
And so, and the other thing is listen to your body. As you get older, there'll be days that this is my day to do this, and the body's not there.
Right,
And
right.
so recovery is more important. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. That doesn't mean get lazy, but if the body isn't there and you're not going to be pushing weights you want, do either light weights or do a cardio day or a stretching day, and you just adjust based on what your body can do, because the whole idea is to make it adapt, not break it down.
So those are some great tips. I want to thank you, Phil, for taking the time today. What I got out of this consistency, having a why, and putting things in place to create long-term habits and make it fun.
Make
And
it
I've
fun.
had fun with you today, and it's really it's an inspiration to meet somebody that where I want to be in my future, and that's what you represent for me. And I want to thank you for your time today.